Encounters here on YouTube. Those who follow Spiritual Encounters on Facebook, and those who follow HCS 895 on TikTok that follow my short reels. How's everybody doing this morning? As y'all know, I did a late night video last night. We had a good attendance. There was a lot of people that showed up. New people, turtles. What shows up at nighttime. Uh, I know I was kind of tired because I hadn't slept well. When the Holy Spirit just got you talking and speaking to the viewers. It just happens that way. That sometimes the Holy Spirit is within you, that it doesn't let you go to sleep. It keeps you awake because it wants you to continue to do the works that you're doing. Um, Last night, whoever missed it, was a good show. Uh, which I talked about a lot of things and some events that happened that I have never spoken of. So if whoever missed it, you're more than welcome to watch the replay from last night. Uh, I was witnessing some things, brothers and sisters. I know I was tired, in which I believe maybe within the video it kind of like might have nodded my head one time where I kind of dozed off some. But that's what happens when you're not sleeping properly. Uh, but the things that was witnessing, because I was doing the video in my backyard outside, and one of the things that I was witnessing as I do the videos at night is the activity that's happening in the backyard. That maybe from now on, because when I'm saying a story, it's kind of like when I go investigate. I'm speaking to the people that are viewing with the recording. The things that I was witnessing in my backyard when I was speaking about my experiences of what I've been through, what I've experienced. A lot of shadow figure movement that were just passing back and forth all throughout the duration of when I was making the video. Uh, that's why I kept on praying. And you all remember I prayed a couple of times and prayed for people because I was seeing these things to the right towards the end of all the activity that was happening around me. You could hear noises. I could hear disembodied voices. No difference than when I go and investigate. I could see a tall figure on the sidewalk stand there looking at me. But I'm gonna tell my love foundation I wasn't afraid of it. And then he just faded out. It was pretty tall. It had to be like 8 to 9 foot tall, and it was just standing there looking at me. Uh, but as I was making the video, I stayed focused on what I was trying to do, which is uh, share my experiences with the viewers. Another thing that happened towards the end, what? You know how I'll talk about lechuzas? As I was finishing the video and I was saying we had prayed and I said God bless y'all and everything like that. When I was saying this, behind the oak tree, there was a lechuza, or should I say an owl. It was pretty tall, like 5.5 foot tall, and his body was out of the tree, behind the tree. It was standing on the ground looking at me. So as I looked at it back, while I was still saying my farewells to the viewers, it flew away over the fence, and it was pretty big. But the way it was looking at me, uh, I can sense things, right? I felt that the way it was standing, the way it was looking at me, I felt a presence of a woman, like you could say a bruja, right? Lechuza. And I just like finished the video, did the sign of the cross, and came inside the house. And I was tired, and I said, you know what, it's time for me to get some rest. So, which I did. I got me a little bit of rest last night. Uh, but those are the things that were happening while I was making my video. I was in their time frame. When they're supposedly the strongest spiritually. I was doing my live feed in their time frame, and I don't think they like that. I think that's where they surfaced up, because I'm talking spiritually. I'm talking about Jesus Christ, and in their time frame where they're roaming around causing chaos and havoc. I believe that's why there was so much activity happening in the backyard. But I'm not worried about it, because I know Jesus Christ is with me. Uh, I wish I could have responded to what I was witnessing by flipping the camera over, especially when the lechuza peeked behind the oak tree. It was pretty tall. I went to where I seen the height of where it stood, and it was almost up to my neck area. You know, I looked up to see how tall ours are, and they say they're up to 4 feet tall. So I don't know. All I know, it flew away. That same one that I seen was the same one that was blocking the road when I was coming home one day, and it was pretty big, and it was blocking the road, and it flew away also. But sometimes, or it could have been a familiar where they're just seeing what you're doing, what kind of work you're doing, and they're just spying. They're like spies. That's why they come in and interfere. The shadow figures that I was seeing, that wasn't that dark, but they were manifesting. And of course, the lechuza. I was hearing disembodied voices. After I come home, I kept on hearing like people talking outside, but there was nobody outside. And I said, well, you know what? Maybe it's just me that I'm tired, and the things are happening in this way because I'm tired. They see being tired, not getting enough rest. That could be a spiritual opening, also, right? I mean, this I was looking. Lechuza was looking at me, and the way his posture was, it was just looking at me like, and I guess it in a way like he's just trying to figure him out. And I was like, when I seen that, I said, man, I was talking to the viewers. It's like, if it flies my way, I'm gonna have to flip this table and just put it in front of me so it won't be able to claw me. That's what I was worried about. That it was gonna try to fly towards me and try to claw me. But I was keeping an eye on it. I just didn't say nothing to the viewers. Sometimes, I was just answering the questions that were being asked. I'm just doing a recap of what happened last night. That I wasn't able to respond a certain way to what I was witnessing, even though I kept on praying for people, and we said several prayers throughout the night. I would say those prayers to pray for people truthfully, and I even pray for myself. But they surfaced up. They were coming in numbers. But nothing happened in any kind of way. I did my live, and I was able to come in home. And when I was inside the house, I kept on hearing like people talking to each other and stuff like that outside my home. But I said, you know what? Let me get some rest, and I just leave it at that. Thank you, brother Chuy Perez. Yeah, I'm there. I mean, you really don't see, how should I say, preachers or ministers doing God's work at that time frame. I do it because I know Jesus Christ is with me, and I speak in those hours. And you all see me. I'm going live out there in the open. Uh, but I have to be more careful just in case. Like I thought that owl that was pretty tall. I mean, when I went to the oak tree's wide, and it was as wide as the oak tree, and it was pretty tall. Where I seen it looking at me like it showed me his body, and it showed me it was literally looking at me while I was doing the live. And as I looked back at it, and I didn't show any signs of fear or nothing like that, and I was praying, it flew away instead. It didn't want to do nothing like that. But when the when the eclipse happened, certain events happened, and I'm going to speak about them right now because I have nothing to hide. But I'm going to speak about the events. When I talk about generational curses, that sometimes certain family members continued suit that was shown to them. Well, in that manner, I was surprised to see the lechuza slash witch owl looking at me, because I had gone to an event not too long ago where it was a Sweet 15. But in that Sweet 15, uh, certain things happen. You know, when it's dealing with the balance, everybody shows their trump cards, right? They show who they are. So there was some females that were there. They literally showed the trump card to me, letting me know that they're sisters, even though they're not blood sisters. And they wasn't talking about sisters of Christ. She said, "That's my sister." So, and I know that's not her sister because all her sisters are already deceased. So when she's saying that's my sister, what she meant was the sisters through the sisterhood of the witchcraft or the brujas. The way that lady was looking, her eyes wouldn't blink. The way her eyes were big enough, she looked like an owl. You know, and she looked at me a certain way. I believe what I witnessed last night was that individual, right? That female, that's the bruja, serviced up here. But what you don't understand is that I prayed last night after I witnessed that, and I prayed against it and said, if there's somebody that came last night into my yard while I was doing the live, and there's something I prayed against something that happened while I was over there. I was offered something to eat. I took a little bite out of it, and I started noticing certain things. So I prayed against that last night. I prayed against that, and I said if there was somebody that tried to do witchcraft or necromancy against me by taking a little piece of a bite off that taco, I said for it to go back to the center, that I don't welcome the negativity. So I prayed about that last night after what I witnessed out there. Trust me, brothers and sisters, I'm telling y'all, the spiritual warfare is very real. There's people that are aligned with Jesus Christ, and then there's people that are aligned with Lucifer. I just wish, that no matter what people believe or religion in, that we could unite together through a love foundation of Jesus Christ, and that we will unite together to be able to battle these unseen forces. They're united. They're definitely united because the only thing they do is evil deeds. So all they do is just follow the orders that are sent to them by the people in charge of them, of the spiritual hits of who's next on the list for the spiritual hits. So when they come in numbers, they come in many, right? But that's why you have to maintain your love foundation, not accept the negativity, no matter what you're seeing. I was seeing a lot of things around me last night, but I wasn't afraid because I've been in those situations before. And I'm maintaining my love foundation. And y'all know I went into prayer numerous times throughout my life feed. Yeah, there's things that surface up like that. I've been in a small town. I get invited by my cousins where they come from, and it's a small town called Harrigill, Texas. And it's not the first time I've witnessed this kind of activity. That's why I'm used to it, and I'm not afraid of it. Uh, I think I spoke about this where there was an election, and it was a small town, and they say, "Hey, just go where they're barbecuing and tell them you're going to vote for them, even though you're not from a town. Come get yourself a free plate, a barbecue." So that's what it was in those small towns. So I went over there, visited my cousins. I got me a barbecue. It was pretty real delicious. And that's where there was a female there, and we were talking, and she said, "Hey, you're more welcome to come to my house. I'm a single parent, and I'm raising my children." She was already in her 20s. Me, I was like 17 years old. So she seemed to be a nice person. So I said, okay. So I went to her house, and I was just there uh, relaxing, and we're just talking about all kinds of stories, right? So time went by, and the clock was like 9:55, and I seen a different demeanor in her where she started getting scared. She started like freaking out, and she said, "You better leave. You better leave." Like a whole like her demeanor changed, and you can see that she's scared. Her children are scared. They're all cuddled up with each other. And said, "You need to leave." I said, "You need to leave because if that clock hits 10, they're going to be here." I said, "Who's they? What are you talking about? Who's they that's going to be here?" So all I can tell you is you better leave before the clock hits 10. And I said, "I've never run away from nobody. Uh, so I'm not going to go nowhere." It was like 9:59, right? 9:59. And a couple of seconds, I looked through the blind, opened the door. There's nobody out there. I said, "No, but nobody." I said, "Nobody's here." He said, "Look, I'm here." I opened the door. There's nobody out there. I closed the door. And then as the clock hits 10, she takes off and gets her kids, and she's all scared. And she's like, "It's too late. They're here now. They're here now." Right? That's what she tells me. So as she says that, I open the door. Right? Maybe like 20 seconds in between by the time when I close the door to when it hit 10 o'clock. And so I'm going to show there's nothing out there, right? So when I opened the door, what I witnessed was this: males and females all standing in their yard, like they're in a trance like state. A lot of people in their yard, on the dirt road, and people coming out of the field uh, across a fence, which was a cemetery. And they all come in and they're surrounding me, right? There's a bunch of them. They're surrounding me, and they're just standing there looking at me. So as they're looking at me, I tell them, "I'm not afraid of y'all." And they're not moving. They're just standing there like in a trance-like state. But I felt that there were, you could say, a cult. And there was a lot of them. If I were to tell you it was 50 people strong, I'm lying to you, because it was a lot more, because there was still people coming out of the woods, out of the cemetery, a lot of them. The church, there was people standing by the church. So I'm looking at them, and I say, "Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name." Man, when I said that, and I'm a Timber Love Foundation with no fear, they all start running like crazy, like they're running like a chicken with a head cut off, and they're just running, jumping the barbed wire fence, going back, running back into the woods, because I call upon the Heavenly Father to come and assist you spiritually. Uh, when I said that and I was walking away, it's kind of like I had gotten like a deja vu of that area. Like this happens all the time, right? So I went. I got my cousins. My cousins had been drinking all day, and I threw them in the vehicle, their vehicle, and I said, "Hey, we need to get out of here." I threw them in the vehicle, put it on drive, and we left that little town. But I've been in those situations where there's people, right, that belong to the other side of the balance. When they're standing that way and they're looking that way at you, it's because they're already being controlled by the demons that are within them. So the demons are there, and the reason they're not moving or saying nothing to you is because they're like puppets. They're being controlled by demons. But when I went into prayer, them demons took off. When I went into prayer, the the demons that were controlling those individuals, they all took off. Nobody came at me in a threatful manner in any kind of way. I would have defended myself, right, if I had to, but I used Jesus Christ. So when I prayed, they all took off running, and I left. Made it home safely. in that sense of a way, when I see the activity that I was witnessing last night, or that I witnessed in Elms Grove, when they come out of the woods, but they're coming out in their true forms, whether or the manifestations that they take, right? Shadow figures, uh, werewolf like, Bigfoot like, go pan like. I can name more because I've seen so many different manifestations. They do it for the fear factor. I mean, for somebody that wouldn't know that small town, that was new to that town, and you witness so many people like that, it makes you wonder, right, of what that town really is about. Let me read some of the comments that are here. Chewy said, one day I fell asleep sitting on a chair and woke up around 3:40, and there was a smoke that looked like something caught on fire. I woke up panicking, got water to put it out, and all the smoke was gone. Uh, Thank you, Smurfy. So if I'm not showing those signs of fear when I'm doing a video, even though, you know, a lot of the storytellers, right? Storytellers or podcasters that want to get the fear factor out of you. If you see the shows on TV, Ghost Hunters, how they act, they get all scared, they start screaming and, oh, look, man, look, bro, I got some scratches. Or they start acting like they're possessed. A lot of those shows that do it for the fear factor, right? For the viewers to stay tuned into them. And a lot of a lot of those people within those shows is acting for them, right? I know that the people are, for somebody that is supposed to be doing paranormal work, one of the things that you're supposed to do is not fear what you're seeing, not give it power, but they do the opposite because they want the viewership. So they say, if we can scare the hell out of somebody, we're going to get the viewers. Or we can say a story and make the person seem terrified. They want people to be terrified, right? Because of the experience is supposed to be horrible, or it's supposed to be life changing, right? We'll say it like that, life changing. But what if there's an individual that's been seeing it all his life, a person like me that's been through this time and time again? You're not going to get the fear factor out of me, or to say it a certain way like you want me to. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it because I'm used to it. When you go through obstacle after obstacle through those experiences, it's just like part of life for me. Like it's nothing. I know it's out of the ordinary, but it's not out of the ordinary for me because I've been doing this all my life. So I'm when you go through all these experiences, you know that you're not supposed to fear it. You know that you're not supposed to give it any kind of power of belief. Uh, and of course, we call upon the Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, to come and assist us because I've done it numerous times. So if I were to do some kind of show or podcast and I'm on TV going to haunted areas or something, you're not going to see the reaction to those guys that are on TV where they're running away and stuff. The reason they get scratched is because they have the opening of fear. So they're going to get scratched, they're going to get touched because they're allowing it by reacting the way, even though that some of these areas might not be as haunted as they make it seem. Even if they're acting and they sense something and they show some sign of fear, that's what certain things happen in that nature. I've been in combat and I've seen people die in combat. So, that's not going to scare me. Am I a tough person? Well, I would say spiritually, yes, because I place Jesus Christ first. Physically, also, because I train daily. And if I have to defend myself physically, I will too. Uh, I just want people to understand here in spiritual equipped encounters You could say I'm a well-oiled machine through Jesus Christ. So I know the do's and I know the don'ts. When it comes to stories, sometimes, brothers and sisters, there's a lot of people that are falsifying stories just to get attention. So they're good, should I say, storytellers of nonfiction. When I hear some of the stories to me of some certain people, it doesn't make no sense. The reason it doesn't make no sense, especially when it comes down to the spiritual aspect out of it, because I know the spiritual aspect out of it. And I can tell when somebody is lying about their encounters, whether it be spiritual or whether it be when they say they had an encounter with a cryptid. Like the guys that say, I killed a Bigfoot. I killed a dogman with this weapon. And they're showing the camera and the weapon, or anybody that's showing some kind of weapon that said they killed something in that nature. The quick question, and you got people believing in their story, right? That they killed a Bigfoot or a dogman, right? It's because it's about the belief factor. They want people to believe that they're flesh beings. So if they're flesh beings, they can be killed. So the question for that is, since they did supposedly killed a Bigfoot or a dogman, where's the body? Where's the confirmed kill that you killed such a being? Even a picture would do, right? Because there's a lot of people that have been doing works for years trying to get evidence. But the only evidence they've gotten is a cast of a indention in the ground. They're saying, "Oh, that's a indention of a Bigfoot," or "That's a indention of a dogman." But it could be anything, and they got the cast of it. It could be anything. Anything can make a print. If it rains and you walk and you slide and it's muddy, your print becomes longer, in which it will look, to be something else, because when the mud slides, it becomes bigger. So that could be debunked real quick out of the equation. Footprints. But the evidence of actually having a picture or a body of what you killed, there will be, to verify your story that you're being legit or 100%, you're not lying, you need to show the evidence, right? The evidence. Just like I placed my pictures. I described to you what I seen, what I witnessed. The show reel I placed yesterday, you seen it. What was in the picture? When I say something in disembodied form, that's exactly what that was that I placed on there. So y'all can see what I'm seeing. Just like last night when I was doing the video, I was seeing all this kind of movements. I wish I had a camera. Maybe that'll be a next project I can do, is have a camera like on my head or on my chest. So when I make the videos, or probably most likely on my head, so if things surface up, I can always debunk the camera that's on my cap to see what surfaces up. And then I'll be able to show what's surfacing up, because, when you do the good works and you play Jesus Christ first, it's kind of like you're a magnet, because they're going to come after you because you're doing the good works. They dislike that. When you're representing, working through Jesus Christ, right? As a representative, as a messenger, they dislike that. So that'll be a thing. I think that I might have to do is get a camera and place it on my hat or somewhere where when activity picks up, I'm able to capture it. That's the difference. I'm gonna be straight up here. I'm gonna first. I don't. When I say certain things, I'm meaning it because of experience, and I'm just sharing my wisdom and knowledge to y'all. The difference between me and somebody that's supposedly a cryptid hunter, where I'm able to capture them on video, is this. I'm going to tell you what the difference is. Straight up. When they're believing in the Bigfoots and they're believing in the dogmen, I'm believing in Jesus Christ. That's the difference. Even though I know these things exist, because the 1/3 that fell from the heaven And what the Watchers created, the disembodied Nephilim, I always place Jesus Christ first. While I'm investigating, during the investigation, and when I leave, just like yesterday, if y'all notice my videos, I'll go into prayer sometimes when people say they're going through something. I pray for the individuals because I place Jesus Christ first. So by me placing Jesus Christ first, I'm getting spiritual evidence of the balance that it does exist. And that's the spirit evidence that I'm placing here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters to let people know that what they're witnessing is not really a flesh blood creature, but a demonic creature. It's manifesting to look like a werewolf or a Bigfoot for the belief factor. Why for the belief factor? So we can have control over them, bond them, possess them, and even take them out. Get them sick, take them out. Because that's what they do. If they see that a person is going to try to change their ways because they're listening to Brother Abe Seas, even I know that when I'm doing this work, that I'm placing my life on the line, right? But you see, my life is about Jesus Christ. He has blessed me to be here, so I am anointed through the Heavenly Father to be able to do this works because He's blessed me to come back from when I crossed over, and I've crossed over a couple of times, that He blessed me to come back to my body. Even though my body was incapable at the time that I crossed over, but He's the Alpha, the Omega, the Creator, and He can make things happen. Which, of course, I had to fight to rebuild my body back up, get it back to par, and which I did. And I protect my vessel because this is what He allowed me to come back into. It's my own body in order for me to continue the spiritual works. So, in saying that, we have to protect our foundation. We have to take care of our body. Can't be putting things in our body that's going to make our body be bad. For example, drugs, too much liquor, too much beer. That's a spiritual opening. Not just a spiritual opening, but it can cause damage to our body. So if our body gives out because we're not taking care of our body, right? We're mistreating our body, then how do we expect for the Heavenly Father to bless us to come back to our bodies if you're not taking care of your vessel and your vessel gives out? What does that mean? That means that there is no way in the world that He can bless you to go back to your body because you didn't take care of it. But He is that great that he can do that, you know. But I'm just saying, He can only give you a certain amount of chances. You know, you got to take care of your body, your vessel. I've seen Him do a lot of works where, for example, the guy that I witnessed that had no liver, that he was fixing to die, they had read him his last rites. The daughter was crying, a little girl, and I told her what was the matter. She said that her dad was fixing to die because the preacher was reading the last rites. I seen the preacher walk out with his head down. It was a Catholic priest. I went in there. I asked the wife if I could speak to him real quick. She said, sure. I went in there and I asked him a simple question. I asked him if I were to tell her to do something, would you do it? And he said, it depends what it is, right? So, well, all I'm going to ask you is to open up your heart and allow Jesus Christ in, because He can make things happen. He can cause miracles and He can bless you. And he's like, I'm fixing to die. I said, I'm just asking you a question one more time. Will you allow Jesus Christ in true faith and true belief in Him so He can heal you? No. This guy, he got his liver is there no more. He's like completely gone and he's almost going to die. And he said, yes. So I pull out my holy water, a place of spiritual crosses from him from head to toe. And I started praying. And I I prayed for Jesus Christ to come, and I said his name, that is opening himself to him as his Lord and Savior, and that he was to be healed so he can be used as a walking miracle of what the Heavenly Father can do spiritually, right? So after I did what I had to do, I walked out and sat in the lobby. As I'm in the lobby, not even 5 minutes, there's doctors running around with x-rays and MRIs, and they're like looking at the x-rays and MRIs, and they're like, there's no way in the world. There's like 6 of them in the hallway scratching their heads like, how can this happen? There's no way in the world. There's no way in the world. This is no way this can happen. That's what they're saying. So what happened was this man's liver got restored 100%, working 100%, restored. The only one that can do something miraculous like that is Jesus Christ himself. How did it happen? Because he opened up himself to Jesus Christ to come in and heal him. He also repented for his sins, for not taking care of his body, and he's got for forgiveness. But he opened up in true faith and true belief that he was going to be healed, and he was healed. I seen him walk. Imagine this. I'm getting goosebumps just by talking about it because it's positive. I feel that the presence of the angels around me. I seen this guy sit in his deathbed. We prayed. I seen him walk out, grab his wife, because when he was walking out of that ICU room or from his deathbed, they said there was nothing wrong with him no more. So he was 100% healed through Jesus Christ. And the doctors' faces, you should have seen their faces, man. They were like tripping, like, how can this happen? Well, Jesus Christ has a final say so in everything. And this man, he walked out of there, and his daughter was real happy, and she said bye to me and everything. Imagine that. I witnessed that. This happened in Scott and White Hospital in Temple, Texas. The reason I was in the ICU room is because my brother-in-laws had got in a car wreck. One of them had passed away, and the other one was in an induced coma. And my sister had called me to come pray for him, in which I did. I blessed, put some protection within the room, spiritual protection, and I prayed for him. When I went to sit down, then everything else happened. You know that saying. Sometimes when you get placed in a situation, it's for a reason. And I got placed in this situation, and I followed my orders, spiritual orders, to go help this man, and I did. But it was done through Jesus Christ. When you pray for people and you're doing it through Jesus Christ, it's dealing with your faith, and you already know what he's capable of doing spiritually. It's no surprise to me. I witness the things that he can do. Uh, it's just some people, they're not there, nothing wrong with them, not to talk bad about nobody, but sometimes there's people that have spiritual openings in which the unseen forces that surface up, right? Because somebody has a spiritual opening that they're blocking their senses. They can see spiritually, they can hear spiritually, smell spiritually, speak spiritually. They haven't bonded and they're blocking their senses, or they're blocking the connection for them to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. So all the things that happen to them is because they're doing it for a reason. They don't want them to awaken. They want them to be how they are. But through the will and the power and glory through Jesus Christ, all is possible. I'm just letting you all know. Okay, I'm see what Mr. Perez says here. We got brother Ibrahim. That's one thing that people don't understand about demons. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share a story with y'all. Man, how am I going to say this one? You know how when they say, "Is there proof? Is there proof of their existence?" I'm going to share a story with you. It was Friday evening when I was already, let me see, like in me and my brother were already like in sixth. I was in sixth grade and he was in seventh grade. We were in a house and everybody was sleeping. As everybody was sleeping, certain events started happening that, or how should I say, not understandable. But I understand now as I have spiritually grown. This was what's happening, brothers and sisters. We got awoken by the noises of whips. We could hear horses. We could hear cows. We could hear lions. We could hear pigs. We could hear all different kinds of animals in our yard. And they were making all kinds of noises. You could hear growlings and all kinds of stuff. We went into prayer because they're saying it's something evil that has manifested here in our house. So you could literally hear like somebody with a whip going, yeah, yeah. And you hear the whip. The lions, you could hear elephants, different kinds of sounds that animals do, right? We all know that demons can mimic sounds of people and sounds of animals, right? So we're in prayer and we're praying all night. This happens all through the wishing hour and the demonic hour. It's happening for about 3 hours in this nature. And we're just praying. That's all we can do is pray, and it's like it feels so overwhelming because everything sounds real loud. So we didn't get no sleep that night. When the sun rose in the morning and we went outside, this is what we found. I'm talking about the evidence that we found. What we found it was in two lots. It was 4 lots because it's our house in 2 lots, and it was my grandmother's house, another 2 lots. What we found was this different different piles of crap all over the front yard, in between the houses and the backyard. Different sizes of crap, of different sizes of crap all over the yard, right? Me and my brother, we spent all day shoveling crap. And we're trying to figure out how can this happen if we had the front gates locked with the chain. We kept the gates locked at night. How could this happen? So my grandma's just there outside looking, and we're shoveling shit and put it in the backyard, making a big pile of crap. When people say, "Where's the evidence?" Well, big pile of crap that they can use that evidence. But like I said, demons can manifest into animals that they have the capability because we were shoveling it to leave traces of crap behind. Okay, we picked everything up, and my grandmother said, "Okay, tonight we're going to put boards underneath the fence," in which she tried to say this is where the animals came through, but there was no gaps underneath the fence. We put wood underneath the fence, and we double chained the gates. Said like that, nothing can come in our yard, right? So nighttime came. It was a Saturday evening. Same time frame. Same things start happening again. The whip, you can hear a man yelling. You can hear the different sounds of animals, the lions or tigers, how they roar, and all kinds of different disembodied voices, mixed up together. And we're going to prayer again. When the sun rose, there was crap all over our yards again. So me and my brother spent another day shoveling crap of different sizes from different animals, and we made another pile beside the other pile. Right. So we have two big mounds of nothing but crap. Right. Two piles as evidence that there was something there. How did that get there is a question. How did that happen? Like I said, demons can manifest to turn into certain animals. And if they're manifested to look into like certain animals, things like that, I believe can happen through the spiritual realm. That they left crap, pestilence behind. You know, when we talk about the black goo, well, we seen crap. It was everywhere. There was no logical explanation of how that happened. Now, was there a portal that might have opened where this demonic forces came out in numbers? Was it a spiritual hit of some sort where they were making the presence known, or was even and when this was happening, our dogs were outside there with we had a wolf and a German Shepherd, and they were howling very ugly, this horrible sounds that they were making all the time all this was happening. After that, it's kind of like when I went back to the back to throw some trash to just to where we placed the piles of manure. We went back there. The big piles me and my brother shoveled up all day were not there. They disappeared. They disappeared. We spent all day, 2 days straight, shoveling crap. The piles disappeared from where we placed them. Now, how would that happen? Because the manifestation was demonic. So if the manifestation of the beasts or animals that were taken, they disappeared. If those animals left crap and it was out of manifestation, then that disappeared too. I'm bringing this story to y'all so you can understand that I know about the spiritual balance. I know how the demons can manifest. They can leave certain things as residue, but that residue will disappear after a while. The reason they're leaving they left the manure of different kinds of animals and the different noises because they want you to believe it's those animals, and there was many noises. But what their true intention was, if we believed we're hearing, you could name a lot of animals from the zoo or from the farms. If we were believing that all these animals were in our yard and we're believing they are that, but it's a manifestation of a demon pretending to be that, and you're believing of what you're seeing because you shovel crap, then there's a spiritual opening for them to continue to attack. That's why they did that. I learned in the military it's called adapt to overcome. So when somebody with the cryptic community telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, no, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm just letting y'all know. I know what I'm talking about because I witnessed these events. When those events happen, the UFO community could say, "Oh, that was a UFO that brought those animals into your yard, and they left crap, and then the UFO came and picked them back up, and the UFO was there for 2 days that did that because I want you to believe in the UFO." But the spiritual logic of what I witnessed is exactly that, because they were trying to do it for the belief factor. We went into prayer. We continue to fight spiritually. You figure if it's a lion, a tiger, those are hunters, right? They're predators, and our, our house was vulnerable to get attacked by these predators, or even if they turn into a manifestation of a werewolf or a Bigfoot, right? They're supposed to be this aggressive beings or creatures, but not one entered a home. Do you know? Do you know why they did not enter a home? And I'm right now. I feel the Holy Spirit, and we're talking spiritual real right now. Do you know why they didn't enter the home? If there's this animal that's supposed to be aggressive and they kill people because they're manhunters, do you know why they did not enter the house? It's because we placed Jesus Christ first, and we were praying against the demonic presence that was there, and that wasn't allowed to come in there through spiritual law because Jesus Christ was protecting us. That's why they couldn't come in. I just had to say it that way, brothers and sisters. You know, I'm on a roll right now. Even though I got a little bit of viewers right now, it doesn't matter. Uh, share with your friends this testimony that I'm talking to you all about. If I were to get my brother to come and speak about it, he'll remember too. I mean, who's going to forget shoveling shit for 2 days? 2 days. And it was heavy on the wheelbarrow. We had weight and everything. We had blisters on our hands. We spent 2 days because it happened 2 times. But after that, then it stopped. It just stopped. All of a sudden, nothing happened no more. It only happened 2 days, back-to-back days. Thank you, brother Shu Perez. If I could find me an author or somebody that knows about writing, I'll share my experiences in a book. I can make several books. Y'all hear what I say here. I can make several books to help out people fight the spiritual fight, the spiritual battle. That's what I do. Y'all see me. I'm used to it because of what I went through in Elms Grove, and then when I was a kid, it's like riding a bike for me. So you're not gonna see that, like if y'all seen the videos when I say, "Hey, I hear somebody," or "I hear something over here," because there's noises happening around me. I'm being truthful, but I'm not scared because I'm used to it. It's kind of like it's like this. I'm gonna say it in a physical way now. It's like if you used to get physically abused as a kid, that you get hit for doing wrong, or you continue to get hit daily. What's going to happen to somebody that get hits daily? They're going to get used to it. Or somebody's in a relationship like that somebody's getting physically abused because they're married and their husband is an abuser. What's going to happen? Because they want to stick to the relationship, they're going to get used to it. They're going to get used to it. The guy trying to act normal after the abuse and going to say, "I'm sorry, please forgive me." But then they do it again and again and again. They get the people that's being abused get used to it. Well, in that nature, I've seen the spiritual side time and time and time again, that I'm used to it. And I know exactly what to do. When I don't react to what people want me to react to, like to be scared or to say my story a certain way, well, I am saying it the right way because I'm used to it, fighting spiritually, and I know that I cannot leave an opening of fear. For the guy that wears those goggles on TV, listen to this, or that you say you make contact with the demon, you got the goggles, but supposedly your eyesight got bad after what happened to you. If something did happen to you, it's because you left the opening of what you're trying to do, what you do on TV. You left the opening of the fear factor because you want the people to believe that what is happening to you all is spiritual real, in which we know certain things that exist, but by you giving it power by reacting the way you do on TV through fear and stuff, or you're just setting yourself a failure. That's why the things happen to you the way they do, because you're opening yourself up to it and you're allowing it to happen. But in saying that, it doesn't matter to me. I could get a lot more evidence in those shows, even with so many cameras equipment they have. I can get the evidence without having all this equipment or somebody trying to stage something. I can get it because through Jesus Christ. They dislike me, because I have a love foundation. They don't want me to do this good works and talk about it. Then another thing you got to take to consideration, because there's people that are gonna, I know, and I'm saying it in advance, most like I'm saying it in advance spiritually because I'm told to say this spiritually through the Heavenly Father. You got to think of what I've been through in my life. You've heard my stories, my encounters, because I shared them with y'all, and I'm speaking in truth. You don't see me looking up at a screen trying to read something. I'm here in my bedroom talking about it. You don't see me reading a piece of paper. Uh, uh, the reason people are gonna or try to make me look like, oh, this guy is not saying the truth, this guy is lying, is because I'm not when I speak, I don't speak like a victim. I don't speak like I've experienced something horrible, even though I went through it. Like I said, I'm used to it. The main thing I don't speak in that nature is because I don't give power to the unseen forces through belief or through fear. So when I say a story to y'all, it's straight up. They ain't gonna be. Sometimes I might get emotional, but I don't want to share tears because that's a spiritual opening. It's one of the things. It's like walking on a tightrope, man. You got to remember what you've been through, and you got to remember what not to do to leave any spiritual openings. It doesn't matter if the lechuza comes like last night and it's looking at me and it's like 5 foot. I read how tall is an owl? I looked it up because I measured the height of the tree and it was almost my height where it was standing. They said that an owl here in Texas is like 4.5 feet tall. Well, this was way bigger than 4.5 feet. But I'm not going to give it power through fear. That's why I prayed last night against it, because it's not my first, how they say, rodeo. I've been through it. I don't do this show for the tithe either. I know there's a lot of podcasts that do it for the tithe because they want to do other things so their podcast can grow. Me, I do it because like this, because I don't want people to miss out on my story where if I do it in a different way, then that's going to take me from my spiritual self. I stay humble, and the reason I talk this way, the way I speak, is because I want your full undivided attention. There's no commercials here on spiritual encrypted encounters. You straight talk. I know what the demons do. It's kind of, you could be at a movie and all of a sudden there's a thought that is bored, that is the movie is boring. Oh, here's another commercial. What happens when you see a lot of commercials on TV? Like 4 or 5 commercials through the TV? Boop. You change the dial to see something else where there's no commercials. Or if it continues that way, you just shut off the TV and don't watch nothing. That's why I do it like this, straight up, here in Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. Well, brother, you have to be prepared for the unseen. Like I said, you have to maintain your love foundation. You have to forgive. You can't have no hatred or anger, not believing in anything else. You know, there's a thing when it says no believe in ditties, which means not to give power, believe in anything else that's not out of that's not of God. There's people in the Spanish community that believe in the Santa Muerte. They have a church for the Santa Muerte, and of course, there's people that believe in other things, like they believe in Santeria and voodoo and different beliefs, right? That's what they believe in which Jesus Christ is not there, but what's there? Demons. Demons that are bonding them. They continue to bond until this day because that's what they're allowing in the heart, allowing in their mind. That's why they said they don't believe in Jesus Christ because of what they're going through. Well, I mean, you're worshiping these things. How come you can't worship Jesus Christ? You know, ask him for forgiveness, worship him so he can show you of his existence. So you can feel the difference between the dark side and the light, or the darkness and the light. And you see which one feels better. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, if you leave that opening, man, they'll run you over. You leave any kind of the openings that I'm speaking of, and they'll run you over. Like last night, the opening. If I had an opening when they all manifested the way they did, it's because I hadn't slept right and I was tired. Listen to me. Oh, I hadn't slept right and I was tired. Right. So what is it saying? Who can attack when you're asleep? We know this already. The succubus and the incubus. That's when they attack. I can tell you that I have a mark in a certain area, and I didn't had no kind of bad dreams or nothing, but I had to tend to this mark that I have. That's within how should I say, a certain location in my body where the succubus and incubus attack. I had to put medicine on there because I believe they tried to attack me in that manner while I was tired last night. They seen an opening, so they kept on manifesting. There was a lot of them, and it's like that's when I say, you know what, it's time for me to go because I knew that I was tired, and that could have been a spiritual opening. So that's why I left to come back inside. You know, you have to be aware uh, when you go cleanse a home where there's activity, or you go pray with somebody. You better be well rested because if you're not, then you go there tired. Well, whatever's there can attack you because you didn't rest, prepare yourself right, and you're not rested, and that's when they attack. They attack the body, the vessel, when it's at its weakest point. That's what they do. If you're liking what I'm talking about now, hit them like buttons, y'all. Don't be shy. I'm not shy of what I'm saying, and what I'm saying is the 100% truth of what I've witnessed and what I experienced, the wisdom and knowledge that I gained from those experiences that I'm sharing here with y'all. So y'all can understand from the perspective of a person that places Jesus Christ first, is a spiritual warrior, as a combat veteran, where I've been in the battle on Medina Ridge, where people has lost lives in combat. Matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to pull out. I'm going to show you some things. I'm here in my room. I'm going to show you something, so y'all can know that it's not stolen valor. that I'm 100% legit. Okay, here we go. You see me wearing the hat? Oh, look, I have a bunch of them. They're right there. I say that I collect minerals, right? I'll tell y'all, I collect minerals. They say, "Oh, he's probably lying." Well, let me show y'all. In my living room, I have displays. There you go. For the trolls and the haters that say, "Oh, he's lying." Well, there you go. I'll show you the minerals that I have. When I talk to y'all and I share the stories of that, I say, "Look, I keep my windows protected with selenite and black tourmaline and other minerals." Look, there you go. Spiritual real, and it's coming to you in truth. I have no reason to lie to anybody. I speak in truth. Now, when I say I'm a combat veteran and I serve the United States Army, right? There's certain things that you can show to show the proof that you're a combat veteran. As I served in the military, every veteran should have a card from the VA that they served, and it should say VA. I said I served in the Army, right? I'm going to prove to y'all that I'm legit. There's me right there with my hat, VA, and there's the logo for the Army. So they put the logos of whatever branch you served on the ID. That's from the VA. What other proof might I have that I was in the military? That's when you know when somebody's being genuine with you. That's a combat veteran or served the government. That you have some kind of proof to prove that they are a veteran that served the country. Let me see if I can find it. I said a story for those who tune in here where I got out of the military. I had lost my ID, and I turned in my ID that they gave me. But when I left the military, I found my old ID in my gear. There you go. When I was in the military, I was a sergeant. I'll cover up this up. I said I was a sergeant, right? They call me Sergeant CS, right there. What does it say right there? SGT. That stands for sergeant. I kept that as a souvenir. I mean, after them going to combat or something, I got to keep something from the government, right? So that's my souvenir from being in the military. So that's two things that people can show you to show proof they're in the military. Another thing that can show you, and I'll see if I can get one real quick from in here. It's called it's a form that they give you. It's called a DD-214, in which on that DD-214 has all your information. And the form looks like this. It's got where you signed up in the military, what location. It'll say where you separated out of the military. Right here, it says where I departed from the military, which is Fort Hood, was my last duty station. It's got It's got your how should I say? I was in armor. It'll say like 19 kilo armor. It's got all the places that I've been of when I joined in and got out. It's got the dates. And down here, and it says in this line here, you have all your medals and ribbons of what you have right here. All the medals and ribbons. And down here is the transactions they did before you left out of the military. Right here. Let me see. This form is called a DD 214, and I'm going to show you. Right here in this corner. DD form. See, right here. DD form 214. There you go. You know, for all those guys, stolen valor. They can't show this proofs that I'm showing you, then they're stolen valor. They're lying to you. Another thing that I can show as proof of where I've been in a combat environment. When you're in the military, you know, you got, maybe you can show when you're re-enlisted, you know, which is like a little diploma where you got out of the military, came back in. When you had to re-enlist, you can show that as evidence. Or, you know, when you're in the military, they'll give you certain certificates, like medals, which will look like this. You know, this is when I was a cross attack. You know, you heard the story that I told you when I was cross attached to the infantry, but I was a tanker. Here you go. And I tell you that I was like a knight. You'll see my name there. Say Sergeant Cias. There's the knight with a lance. This one I got cross attached to 1-5 Cav. Right there. 1-5 Cav. That's a certificate I got for going out there with them for a rotation. Now here's my certificate of when I was in Saudi Arabia. I was with 7 Corps. I'll tell y'all, I was in Operation Desert Storm. I thank Jesus Christ for giving me the guidance to allow me to do this for y'all. You know, because there's people that'll try to paint you to call you a liar. Well, here you go. What does it say there? Operation Desert Storm. That's my certificate from over there. Down here, I'm going to read it for y'all. It says, served with distinction with the 7 Corps among the coalition forces fighting for the liberation of Kuwait from 17 January 1991 to 02 March 1991. Let me get it close for y'all so you can see the dates there. There's the dates. I'm showing you my proof. And of course I got my medical records. A lot of paperwork with the medical records. If people can, that's why, you know, I'm showing this. Here's my let me see if I can find the one when their certificate, the ribbons that they give you when you accomplish. They give you medals. There's another one here. There's another one here. Here we go. I told you that when I was in 135 armor, you see this emblem here? This Unicrest with the armadillo for armor. You see it right here? I'm going to show you. I told you that I was knighted over there as an Iron Knight, right? There you go. Here's a certificate with my Unicrest. The same Unicrest I got here is right here. See if y'all can see that. It says, I'm going to read it to y'all. 1st Armored Division, 1st Battalion, 35th Armor, Iron Knights. United States Army, Europe, and 7th Army. It's awarded to Private Abram Cias. Because I was a private when I was out there. And this one here, this one is not the one for when I was in combat. It was when I went to train in Grafenwehr. But this is how it looks. And you see it right there where it says Iron Knights. Iron Knights. I'm trying to find the one from when I was out in combat. I got this is from when I went to PLDC to become a sergeant. I had to go to a school for that to advance for rank. You know, you have to, every rank you advance, they have to send you to school for that. So, you know, I got that proof, and of course, my medical records, pretty thick, of all the things that I've been through the military. I'm showing you all this, guys, because there's a lot of people. If you hear somebody saying a story and they say they serve for the military or something, and you're not believing in what they're telling you, you can tell them to show you the proof. Show you the proof just like I did right now. So you can understand that everything that comes out of my mouth is real. I say who I say I am. I have no reason to lie. All the stories that you hear when I was out there in combat are 100% real. The VA probably doesn't want me to talk about the things that I witnessed out there. Like I said, I've been fighting all my life spiritually. So do you think I was afraid of when I was out there? I knew that Jesus Christ was with me. You know, if it was my time to go, it was going to be my time to go. But I know, and I have my faith and belief in Jesus Christ, and I'm here talking to y'all about it. Yeah, I have so many medical records, and the registry from the VA that send me things. You know, I'm just showing y'all, brothers and sisters. For, you know, there's a lot of people that say they were in the military, but they don't have no proof to show. Like, there's the proof that I'm showing y'all that somebody, if they're real, they're going to tell you. You know, they're going to tell you, they're going to show you some proof, in which I have. The one that I haven't been able to find, in which was my, let me see if I can find it real quick, was when I was in combat in the Battle of Medina Ridge. And I'm going to see if I can try to look for it real quick so I can show it to y'all. Now, it's just I even got a record of a PT test I got in here from when I was in the Army. Let me see something real quick here. Because I make copies of, you know, certificates and like that. It's got to be some here somewhere. I just haven't been able to find it. Which is my my certificate of when I was out there in combat in the Battle of Medina Ridge. I got it somewhere. I just need to find it. Now I got so much paperwork that I might have misplaced it somewhere. In I have another folder with a bunch of paperwork, y'all. You're welcome. Like I said, and I'll reiterate again, I'm used to it. I've been fighting all my life since I was a kid. I've seen the balance at a very young age. So when you get caught up with all that, you learn not to fear it because you get used to the activity happening around you. But at the same time, if you have faith and believe in Jesus Christ, you place Him first. That's why I'm still here, because I continue to place my faith and believe in Jesus Christ. I'm not going to let anything, how should I say, stop me from having my faith in Jesus Christ. I'm going to continue to do the works that I do. I'm still trying to find the one where, but right there, 7 Corpse. If you look it up, that's I was in 135 armor through 7 Corpse. I just don't know where it happened to my other. I'll find it eventually. When I do find it, I'll show it to y'all. Maybe in another video. I just have to look for it. But those are the things that you show. For people that doubt you, or the people that want to or for people that want to say you're lying. Well, here you go. This is for a Gulf War exam. For a Gulf War exam, that was just a copy of what they sent me through the mail. Here we go. I found it, brothers and sisters. So you're gonna be able to see this. It's an Army Commendation Medal. Let me see if I can. Right in the center, up here in this thin line, it tells you my name and the battalion I was with. Right here in the center. I'm going to read you what this says. Right? I'm going to read you what this says. Because I know there's been people that try to tell me that I was in combat, that I wasn't in the front lines. This is what it says. It says, Department of the Army, this is to certify that Secretary of the Army has awarded the Army Combination Medal to Private First Class. I was a PFC, Abrams CS, 1st Battalion, 35th Armor. And then it says, for meritorious achievement while assigned to the 2nd Brigade, 1st Armored Division from January 17th to February 28th, 1991, during Operation Desert Storm. He said he contributed greatly to the brigade's preparation for combat operations in the tactical assembly area Garcia. He also played a key role in the Iron Brigade's overwhelming success in the Allied campaign against the Iraqi armed forces, including the brigade's reduction of Abu Zaya on 26 February, and the destruction of the B Brigade of the Medina Republican Guards Division on February 27th. It says, his performance is in keeping in the finest traditions of the U.S. Army and reflects great credit on his unit and the Iron Brigade. And this reward, I received it on the 31st of May, 1991. There's my proof that I was in combat. Plus, the short reel I created where I was out there in combat in the front lines. That's my proof, brothers and sisters. I think last night there was a female that was asking me that this guy from the military was trying to hustle her for some money, that she believed that he was lying, that he was in the military. And I told her most likely he is lying to you. If you can show you any kind of proof that he's in the military, can show you an ID or anything of that nature, then most likely he's lying to you. He just wanted to get money from her. But there you go. Yes, Sister Rebecca, I'm showing the proof right now that I am in the military. I wear this cap because I've been here. This is my unit, 135 Armor, is First Armored Division. There's the tank. You seen the unit crest on that award, and in Fort Hood I was in the Cav. This was my unit crest for the hood for 212 Armor. Before this, it was another one, but I lost the unit crest. For about a year, I was with 135 Armor. All they did is change colors and rename the unit. Let me put this back here real quick. So there you go, brothers and sisters. When all those trolls jump on there and they try to say that I'm lying, I done show you the proof of who I am. Why? Because I don't have no reason to lie to nobody. Everything that I speak up is 100% truth, man. If you're feeling a certain way, you want to hear spiritual talk, 100% truth spiritual talk, late at night, jump on, because I'll be talking. I have no reason to lie about the military, and I have no reason to lie that I believe in Jesus Christ. That's why I always acknowledge Jesus Christ. Well, it's that they're just trying to paint a picture, because some of those people that come up against you, they've never been in the military, so they have it's called stolen valor, which they don't understand why a veteran would get upset because they're pretending to be in the military, is because we placed our life on the lines when we were out there in combat. That we could have been gone too, but it didn't happen that way. But then you have the soldiers that have fallen in combat, that have died fighting for this country, that they truly took an oath, went through the course of the training, and they died in combat. So they're disrespecting the deceased. They're disrespecting the soldiers that are still, they might not be in the military, but they're disabled because they're missing limbs. So for somebody to pretend and lie to the people, that I know of a certain individual that did that. Voltonator. I call him Voltonator. This guy named Volt that had some kind of group. He lied that he said he served in the military, that he was at a funeral. He was in a funeral with, what was the guy's name? Chris, the sniper that got killed. He said that he was at his funeral, that he was a pallbearer. He tried to place a BS photo that looked Photoshopped, that photo cropped, that he was there. You could tell he was fake. But those are the guys, those liars you have to watch out for, is the wolves in sheep clothing. Oh no, I understand, Chewy, but I just wanted to share with you, share that with you, because you hear the stories that I've said about when I was out in combat. So I figure if they can sit there and listen to me speak with respect, because that's what y'all have done. You've those that truly here to learn or to understand where I'm coming from. You've let me say what I have to say without saying anything negative towards me. That I felt that's the thing that I can at least do for y'all, to show you the proof of where I've been. So if I'm not lying about the military career, then I'm not lying to you about all this experiences that I've been through. When you go through something, you always remember it. You'll never forget it. So me, I have a good memory right now. So I said, before I get older and I might lose my memory, I'm going to just put all this information here in spiritual encrypted encounters. So if something ever happens to me, my son could, if he ever wants to hear my voice, we can hear it here through spiritual encrypted encounters. And he can look at the videos where I'm sharing my wisdom and knowledge. That's why I put titles. People put episode 1, episode 2. No, to me, I'm not an episode. To me, it's more about I'm just sharing my wisdom and knowledge, and I'll give a title to the story that I'm sharing. How you doing, primo? Jesus Carvajal. Jesus Carvajal is my cousin. Yeah. I just showed you the evidence that I got there of who I am, where I've been. But even with what I've witnessed and experienced in combat, it still hasn't changed me in any kind of way of who I am. That's probably the difference between me and a lot of people that were in combat and have PTSD. That when I was in combat, I prayed to Jesus Christ, and I prayed Jesus Christ first. And I believe he has protected me in that nature for me to have understanding that in combat, there's been holy wars fought in that way, in which that's what happens. People live and people die. You shouldn't have no guilt about what you did in combat because it's either you or them. But through spiritual law, there's spiritual warfare in which the side that Jesus Christ is aligned with, if they place Jesus Christ first, that's the side that's going to win, right? As you place Jesus Christ first. And I'm here talking about it. That's the difference between me and a lot of people. That's why I can talk about the stories in the military, the way I speak of them, and I know the viewers probably like, damn, they're like, this guy just saying it straight up, like he liked doing that. No, I just say it straight up because it's the past and it's a story. And I'm going to say to you with how I am, I'm strong spiritually and I'm a strong person. You look, I say I work out daily. You have to set yourself to be a certain way. So I say the stories how I say them. Because it's not a story, it's something that I went through in my life. So, it's something you never forget. But I don't give power to the unseen enemy to try to give me some kind of guilt conscience because it shows me a flashback of when I was in the front lines and shows me a flashback of the dead bodies and the dogs that were doing what they were doing out there to the remains of the people that passed away. I type out and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. But yes. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons the VA hasn't helped me with PTSD. Because they're like, damn, this guy, he just talk about it like it's nothing. You just got to do what you got to do to survive when you get placed in a situation like that. I know I wanted to continue to live, even though I didn't have, at that time, a family or nothing. I held life precious. So I said to myself, I'm not giving up, If I have to fight somebody with my hands, I'm going to fight them, or hand-to-hand combat, just to continue to stay alive. Well, it's about the things that he did, where she disrespected the veterans, or for anybody that has stolen valor, that's not right. That's just plain not right. Then when you're acting like you're a badass or that you've seen something or experienced something, which about the only thing that he experienced is probably cooking in the kitchen, a pretender, a con artist. That's pretender, con artist, stolen valor, same thing. Then in which to me, if he lied about that and he's saying all these things of these encounters that he's experienced, but he lied that he served for the government, then that's telling me that the stories that are saying are made up. That's a lie too. Bottom line, that's how I see it as. I've I've never really seen any of his episodes. I just didn't like the guy when I first seen him because I see right through him, and I could tell that he was lying. Yes, that's why I play Jesus Christ first, because the unseen enemy can attack you that way by giving you flashbacks or shows you images of where you're at. I don't know if you were in the front lines, but I'll support anybody that served in the time of combat. That's just good. Support is support. But when somebody's out there in the front lines, and you have to fight, well, that's always going to be with you. But you have to have understanding how the balance works. Once you have the understanding that throughout history, armies have fought armies, nations against nations, and it was about the balance, which is God against God, because everybody's believing of what they're worshiping, right? And then maybe the God in another country's got a different name. It might be the same God, but throughout history, wherever Jesus Christ is with, if they pray and place him first, they will become victorious. I'm not here to talk about it. I don't feel sorry for the guy when you're there and you're talking to several people and you're cleaning your weapon. We used to do that. We disassemble weapons, where there was an M16, where it was a 50 cal, the 240, or a 9 mil. Disassemble the breech also from the tank to clean it, because we have to do service to keep it ready to go at all times. Well, when somebody cannot speak like this, but they're there, and people are just like, I'm here, and these guys cleaning his weapon like he's some kind of badass, I could tell that right off the bat that he has never served for the government. I could tell that he was lying. So I was looking at him, and he said something to me, and I just laughed because I already knew he was lying. It's like I try to warn people about him that he was lying, and they found out that he was lying about that he was in the military. And Sister Rebecca Jean Madragon, when people are pretending to be on the detail, because that's what we call it in the military, funeral detail, that he said he was there and as a funeral detail as a pallbearer. We who serve know it's really called a detail. So they just ain't gonna get certain people. It's a detail that rotates from battalion to battalion, and whoever is in charge of the detail, they go to those funerals to bury the veterans. So it's a detail. So you got Big Four Hood, and out of all the battalions and companies, out of Four Hood brigades, divisions, there's one detail that's in charge of funeral detail. So they can normally come from a company, right, of soldiers that are in charge. There might be 2 or 3 funeral details, because a lot of people pass away, so they get sent that way. He couldn't say the name of his what unit he was from, or anything like that. He just said that he was in the detail, but he was lying about that. So he was lying about he was in the service. He wanted you to believe he was in the service, so you can believe the fake stories, that those stories are legit. But I know for a fact that they're not real. That he made them up, just like he made it up that he was in the military. Stolen valor. Stolen valor And Inquiry Minds wants to know. Made up stories. Yeah, he's a con artist, man. That's what you call a con artist. Those are the people that you have to look out for. Con artists. There's a lot of wolf in sheep's clothing, but there's a lot of con artists in this crypto community. I've I've seen them, you know. But I was supposed to make a quick video, and the Holy Spirit came in, and I've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes, and there was just to be a quick life. I don't have nothing against nobody, but I do have something against when somebody is lying, and not just lying to the people, but lying to themselves. How long has he been lying about the things that in his life? It's like living in a fantasy world, that you're believing your own lies, and you have to continue to believe in your own lies because you're trying to deceive people. You know, that's not cool. Yeah, he probably kept the money by himself. The people that were giving money to him were probably paying for his vehicle. You know, there's some people that are gullible. They can't see the lies from the truth. But in saying that, if I had a message for the Boltonator, it would be this: be true to yourself. He can make things right. He can make things right by making one quick video. And in that quick video, all you got to say is apologize to the people he's lied to, that he's changing his ways, that he wants to be a better person, and say he's sorry for the people he's lied to and for disrespecting veterans. That's what he did. But people are not going to do that. They're not going to apologize because then that means that everything that's ever come out of the mouth has been a lie. So what do they do? Disappear for a little bit, out of sight, out of mind. Maybe that's what a con artist does all the time. They'll surface up like in a couple of months, with all there's stories that are made up to see what they can reel in, see if they can find another sucker. You know, he's just in danger to himself because I ain't afraid of the guy, or he can pretend all he wants to. He just don't know of what I've seen and what I'm capable of doing. Luckily, I place Jesus Christ first, and I'm a Timber Love Foundation. That's all I got to say. Yes, there's other people that are going through some issues right now, but when you dwell in the negativity and you come after people like for a whole year, about last year, certain people kept on trolling me all year long, and I would tell them, said, look, I suggest you leave me alone. They kept on, because if not, when the Heavenly Father intervenes, as He's my Lord and my protector, certain things are going to happen. That He's not going to be funny no more. They kept on and they kept on, and certain things happened to those individuals. This was just they're fighting for custody of the children. I seen there. I don't even follow them, and the sister's talking about the people are lying and people are this and people are that. I said, well, I know for truth that he came at me with fake profiles, pretend to be somebody else. So if somebody's coming to you with a fake profile and messing with you, and then they laugh about it, and they call you a liar because they want to continue to troll you, when they're in the situation they are right now, I don't feel sorry for him. That's part of karma, and that's what happens when you mess with people, especially children of God. Certain events happen in that nature. The negativity that you're trying to dwell upon somebody goes right back to you if that person doesn't accept the negativity and they place Jesus Christ first. But I do pray for people, for them to find a way. Yeah. If people don't understand this, there are some evil people in this world, serial killers, gangsters, and people in the cults. What they don't understand is this: that they're here in this world because of Jesus Christ. So since He's the Lord, He's our protector and our avenger, and you continue to dwell in the negativity, maybe He'll do something to teach you a lesson so you can try to get on the back track. But if you continue, then worse things happen. And so by then it's too late. He gives people a chance to change their ways. He gives them time to repent for their sins and ask God for forgiveness. He's a patient God, a loving God, and a forgiving God. But you figure when you go through so many things because you're lying and you're not placing Jesus Christ first, and then, there's people that are like, why is this happening to me? I didn't do nothing wrong to anybody. I wasn't pretending to be a troll. They can lie to man, but they can't lie to Jesus Christ because He knows everything. That's the thing about these people, that they can try to lie to man, but they can't lie to Jesus Christ because He knows the truth. Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like you don't hear me reading verses out of the Bible, even though I do have a Bible. These people that are wolves in sheep clothing, they'll read a verse out of the Bible, wait a couple of minutes, then they start messing with somebody. And like, okay, you're reading a verse out of the Bible like you believe in Jesus Christ, but then the works that you do, you're messing with people and talking bad about people. You put that in the scale of the balance. The balance is saying you're on the negative side. You put it on the scale and weigh it out. The scale don't lie. Jesus Christ don't lie. Especially when they use Jesus Christ's name in vain. That's we know what happens to the people spiritually when they use the Lord's name in vain, and it's not nothing good. Yeah. uh it's kind of like the man that was riding the mule, right? And there's a homeless man in the middle of the road, and the mule is not moving, but the man is not getting up to help the man that's pretty injured. He's not helping the man, and the mule talks, or the donkey talks to the man, because the Holy Spirit goes into the donkey to tell the man to help to help him, and that's when the man freaked out and he got scared because that was the higher power commanding him to help him, basically telling him, how do you expect me to forgive you for your sins when you can't even help out the man that's dying right in front of you? Yes, you reap what you sow. I hope y'all liked this video today. I was just doing. I'll go on for 10 more minutes. Uh, like I said, I want to say thank you to the people that have been showing up to the live feeds. I know I don't put nothing in advance. I just pop out of nowhere. I'm that kind of guy that just pops out of nowhere when you least expect it, and that's how I do the videos. I just want to say thank you for your support and for tuning in, and for being there, listening to what I have to say. That I'm glad that I'm able to touch you spiritually through a foundation and to awaken you spiritually, my brothers and sisters. Yeah, that's true. Uh, there's a lot of people that go against Jesus Christ, and their fate is already sealed without them even knowing it. Because if Jesus Christ, they don't believe in Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is not there for them, when all these things surface up, what's going to be there for them from the side of the balance? It's not going to be Jesus Christ. And if they only knew that side of the balance dislikes mankind, they got casted from heaven down to the hell realm. They dislike us, but we're created under God's image, and the only thing they're interested in, they're not interested in the works that they do that are negative. The only thing they're interested in, the unseen forces, is about their soul, because they don't want them to ascend to make it into the kingdom of heaven. So if they don't believe in Jesus Christ, when that time comes, when they're really coming to manifestation and the spiritual war starts, a lot of these people, their fate is already sealed. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Because they're not believing in Jesus Christ. So their fate is already sealed. Because the only thing that's going to be there of belief is the negative side of the balance. Because they don't want to believe in Jesus Christ, open up to him spiritually. Shavite King, it's okay, freestyle Abe, wherever the spirits take you and whatever we know when we jump onto us and give us the stuff to know and ponder. Yeah, I just go with the flow of things, man. And but at this time, it's almost going to be. I said like almost 2 hours, and I was just supposed to do a quick live feed, but when you have the Holy Spirit on your side, it just keeps on talking. He uses you. But in saying that, brothers and sisters, thank you all for tuning in early in the morning. God bless you and your families. I just had a share what I witnessed outside to explain myself, share some stories, and show this that I have from the military. My proof of that I'm sincere and true. Every story that I say is 100% legit. I have no reason to lie. You're welcome, Brother David. Thank you, Shavite King. In saying that, you'll have a beautiful, blessed day. God bless you and your families, and I'm going to give me a little bit of rest. Thank you again for tuning in, and I'll see you all later on, or whoever's going to be up later on, late at night, like around 11ish, or maybe sooner than that, depends. Um, when just look out for me later on tonight when I pop up. You have a blessed day. Peace, everybody.